Hi, everybody. Thank you for jumping on and checking out the recording that we put together in Manchester Career and Professional Success. I'm Jamie. I am the Career Director for Manchester CaPS, and I'd love to give you a chance to meet our team. So it's me and Maggie. You'll recognize me on the left. And then Maggie, who many of you I'm sure know, is our internship coordinator there on the right. So our team really focuses on getting you ready for your career. One of the things that have come out of COVID-19 is knowing that the job market and the landscape when everyone graduates or looks for internships is very different now than it was about 6 weeks ago. So with that, we created a presentation that we wanted to tailor to address some of the issues and concerns that you might be having. So with this slide, there is an organization called NACE. They're the National Association of Colleges and Employers, and they did a poll of employers to get a temperature check to see how are they responding to COVID-19. I want you to keep in mind as you look at these statistics that it's possible that they look very different now. I don't know when you're watching this recording, but as of the end of March, these were the numbers. However, it's rapidly progressing and everything's changing faster than most of us can keep up. So with that, I want you to keep in mind that these statistics are to show you that things have changed and that things have progressed pretty rapidly. And depending on whether things have improved by the time you watch this or they've continued to persist, it's possible that these numbers are different than they are listed here. So what you should know is that most of the employers, at least half, are going remote. I would make a guess that by the time you're watching this, more than half are remote. Over 25% are no longer recruiting on campuses. Also probably more than that at this point, considering many campuses are closed. But however, a lot are pivoting to doing virtual recruiting. So keep an eye out for those opportunities. As of the end of March, 71% have planned to continue internships. However, 91% planned to continue internships at the very beginning of March. So in that 1 month time, we dropped by 20%. It's possible that if this is persisting, that number is even lower now. 23% are in wait and see mode, and that's the interesting part. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know if we're going to be able to pull out of this and then recover pretty quickly, or if the economy is going to stay in this state of distress for a long period of time. The longer that it is, the more likely that some of these numbers are, and the landscapes are a little bit more challenging, which I'm sure is part of your concern. We're going to hopefully address some of those concerns here today. So as we talk about COVID-19, I want to think through the lens of how we already address career progression. So if you've worked with us before, if you've seen us in class, you're familiar with the Wildcat Way to professional success, which is build awareness, build experience, build your professional image, and then all of those collectively, as you work on those, create relationships, which is really the key to it all. With COVID-19 and the change, none of these things have actually changed. Some things have a greater emphasis now than maybe they did even before. So let's start with the beginning. So build your awareness. This is twofold. So the beginning of this is really understanding yourself. So what are your values? What are your interests? What are the things you're really good at? And then the other side of this is understanding what is your industry like? What are their salaries? Are there places in the country where there's more opportunities than others? What can you expect in terms of entry level and then career progression? So you really want to learn about yourself and then especially learn about your industry you're headed towards. The interesting piece and layer that this coronavirus circumstance creates is you want to understand, was your industry that you're heading into something, an industry that was hit really hard by this? Or are they an industry that's thriving? So online IT, if you were looking to be working on Zoom right now, I mean, they are phenomenally booming unlike they ever have before. Whereas if you were thinking about, restaurant management or hospitality, those industries are struggling a little bit more than the others. So you really want to look and become aware of the industry you're headed towards through the lens of the impact that this virus has had. If you find yourself looking into a industry that was really hard hit by this, what you want to do is consider, okay, what are the necessary skill sets that that industry is looking for long term? And then consider potential other directions you could go that will build those transferable skills. It doesn't mean that you throw up your hands and say, well, I was trying to run a restaurant and now I can't. Your career is going to last a lot longer than the coronavirus will. So what you want to do is be nimble in your approach and think through different options that could work for you. So what you want to do is definitely do your own research. So we have a lot of opportunities right on the UNH career page that will help you with that. The second piece is build your professional image. So a lot of this has to do with your resume, your cover letter, how you show up for an interview, things like that. But when we look again through the lens of the coronavirus and the impact, what you really want to focus on is your online brand. So consider that really people are getting to know you through whatever is out there on the internet. So consider the fact that an employer will absolutely Google you. So if they're going to Google you, you want to make sure you Googled yourself first, and consider things like your personal pages for Instagram or Facebook. Make those private so that they don't just come up on a Google search. You want to make sure that your LinkedIn is on point. And then you want to make sure that you feel comfortable being able to show up to a virtual interview and you're dressed professionally and you're able to handle that well. So if you notice, if you look in the background of my screen, you're going to see a lovely plant, a clock, a whiteboard, and then some white space in the background. You're not going to see, my messy bedroom. You're not going to see my my husband walking around in the background, things like that. So when you want to approach trying to have a video conference with an employer, it's interesting because now they're right in your home, they're right in your personal space. So try in that moment to make sure the background of your space looks professional, even though you are inviting your employer more or less into your home through a video chat. And then another thing that you really want to consider is Handshake. So building your professional profile out on Handshake. Right now, employers are really searching for their new talent, leveraging that platform. It's a great way to enhance yourself as a candidate to see if somebody will reach out to you that you are interested in. So here are some tools that'll help you get started. So if you're still working on your resume, you definitely want to start with VMock. It's an online system that you're able to upload your resume, and it's going to give you feedback instantly through artificial intelligence. So that's a really great place to get started. And then another thing that is especially important right now because of everything that's happening is Interview Stream. Interview Stream is an online platform that allows you to practice your interview skills on video. So they'll give you prompts and you'll record yourself and you'll be able to see how well you do with online video. And I think that what you want is to practice that over and over because that's the skill set right now that's going to make the biggest impression. Any interview you do in this moment, I guess unless something's changed since you started watching this recording. But in the moment that we're living in, it's early April right now when I'm recording. If you're going to have an interview right now, it will be recorded or it will be on Zoom or video. And then build experience. So hopefully leading up to this moment, you've been really engaged in building those transferable skills, joining different volunteer opportunities. Maybe you've held a job in the past, things like that, join student orgs, all the things that were available to you before this. But now at this very moment, what you want to do is keep an eye on the things that are available to you online. So things like going on Handshake, because we really every day are adding more and more virtual events to allow you to connect to employers. UNH Manchester is also being really mindful of building their community online for our students. So if you can go on and check out events, you're going to see a bunch of virtual options for you to still stay engaged back with us there to build that experience piece. But then you can get creative with it. So if you go on LinkedIn or even Facebook, you'll be able to find groups and interest groups on both of those pages. That is a really great way in this moment to be able to find networking opportunities and to build relationships. So try those pages and see if you can get involved with any, Zoom group chats in the industry of your interest, and try to break out that way. So just make sure that you're really mindful about Handshake. Again, build that profile, but you can still search opportunities that are on there. You can still apply through Handshake, and can connect with employers that way. So make sure you're being proactive in your approach. All of this is with the intention of building relationships. So right now, relationships are more important than ever. The more competitive the job market gets, the more likely people are to want to hire somebody that they know and they feel comfortable with, because there's so many candidates, it's hard to sift through good ones. So in terms of building your relationships, you can definitely use things like LinkedIn. Wildcat Connections is a really high value platform to connect right with UNH alumni. And reach out to your existing networks and just start having those conversations before you're going to try to look for your job or your internship. In terms of specifics around networking, so there's some statistics at the bottom. These were true before coronavirus. So I would make the argument that they are even, probably the statistics are higher, but just keep in mind, so it depends on which resource you look at, but either way, it's really high. So between 70 and 85 of the jobs that people get, they land them through networking. 7% of job applicants have a referral within the company that they're applying to, yet 40% of new hires are hired through referrals. So if you are able to build a relationship at the company you're applying to with somebody who's willing to say, hey, I met so-and-so and they're really great, your chances of getting hired are so much greater. Only 7% of the people who are applying to a job and know somebody at that company, and you're 40% likely to get that job because you know somebody. So really, these things really truly matter, and they matter even more now. And then the other aspect is when we look at the fact that, jobs are maybe not as readily available, well, statistically, 70–80% of jobs are never even posted. So that's where you really want to be building those relationships, because then you're not going on with the masses to Indeed and just trying to pull jobs off job boards. What you're trying to do is trying to build relationships with people at companies of interest and really learn about the opportunities through a person. So do a lot of this digging on your own and really build those relationships and start those conversations. The beauty of these two platforms, Wildcat Connections and LinkedIn, is you can be sitting at your computer at home while building really, really strong relationships. So just keep that in mind. And then the other aspect is we understand the face-to-face is really important. So hopefully through this video, you've seen me, you've seen my face, and you would be comfortable reaching out to myself or Maggie. So you still can meet with us. And that's what we want you to know more than anything, is that we're here for you and we want to support you through this changing landscape. And if these opportunities are a little bit harder to come by, it does not mean that they're not there. It just means you have to be a little bit more strategic in your approach and really show up with your A game. And that's what we're here to help you do. So if you want that face-to-face, we can video chat through Zoom and have a conversation. Share your screen, share your materials, do a mock interview on Zoom to be able to practice what this feels like. So we are here, and we would do all the things we would do in the office right online with you. If you have any further questions, please, like I said, reach out to us. You can reach out to our general email or get an appointment with us right on Handshake. And good luck, and thank you.